maybe we even should start with Jean a little bit, because we were talking last night that there's hardly any women that ever show up on these interviews and stuff like that, and I get a lot of emails from people saying how much they like Ann Shulgin's talks, and you know, I think that if people use these medicines in ways other than just for recreation, and I have nothing against the recreation. I think that you know, going out and taking one of these medicines and dancing all night is a real good positive thing. But the kids will come up and say, "Oh, how do I take this feeling back to work on Monday?" And we were talking about that some last night, you know, about how do you maintain these feelings. And I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's automatic. And maybe we just start with how you kind of started using them as a couple. And I don't know where you want to start. How did you first get into this whole area?
Oh, when I met Myron through a mutual friend. It was on a blind date. And we sort of there was a little spark there that started, and we dated briefly. And in 5 months, we got married. Well, he told me about his work with the foundation. And I was really impressed. And then he asked me if I wanted to try some LSD, and I said, yes. So he had an airplane at the time and flew over. This house wasn't here. We stayed in the old shack. And then the next morning, did I take 50 or 100 micrograms of LSD? I don't remember. And he drove me to Death Valley. Mm. And I knew that I was going to have an interesting time, but I had no idea it would be so gorgeous. It kept opening, the universe kept opening up. It got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more beautiful and more beautiful and more beautiful. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, it's the big picture. I mean, there's much more than just what we see in daily life. It was just, you could see details that you never imagined were there. So it was an exquisite experience, really. And then I don't remember the sequence of time, but we started working with MDMA when that was being researched. And
that was before it made it into the streets.
But it was still legal, yes. And we called it the love drug because it opened up the heart chakra. And so we did a lot of work with that. And with a lot of different people and couples. You talked about couples earlier. It worked beautifully with couples who were having problems with their relationship with each other. And because they would get to see how foolish they were to feel left out or hurt or whatever, and so it helped a lot of people. We worked with a lot of people.
Was that couples with a therapist, or just couples on their own, or how?
Just with us. Myron and I would have people. Well, this went on for years. When we built this house, we would have people come here and sit with us. We'd sit with them all day long with MDMA, and it was just wonderful to see how they softened up and recognized how foolish they were to feel the way they did. So anyhow, it was a new world, and it helped our relationship too. Believe me, because we're pretty different. Anyhow, okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. And let me ask. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Myron.
Now for the record.
Oh, okay.
I'm just astounded. She's telling me everything with utmost clarity, way beyond anything I think that I can remember. So keep her talking.
I intend to do that, but I want to ask you a quick question about why Death Valley? Why did you go over to Death Valley?
Death Valley was discovered by Al Hubbard. He was in Southern California, and it was Christmas time, and he went up there, and he found it's really a remarkable area. I don't know if have you been to Death Valley?
I've never been there, no.
Oh, well, it's incredible. Part of it is 200 feet below sea level. And the mountains are fabulous, and the colors in the mountains it's really a remarkable place to go. And when you have the effect of LSD operating, then it's just multiplied intensely. And so it's just a wonderful experience to get over there. So Hubbard and his wife, they had gone over and discovered how nice it was, and he considered right off the bat that this was a really great place to train people. And by this time, we were working in Menlo Park, and we were using LSD legally, and so with Charles Savage as our instructor and leader, and our local psychiatrist, he would be the one who interviewed people to see whether it was appropriate for them to go through the LSD experience. And he had gotten acquainted with Hubbard, and Hubbard with him. And in the early days when we just started, Hubbard had lived in Canada, but he moved down to Southern California. He was living there for the next few years. And one Christmas time, he and his wife went to Death Valley, and he just found that to be a remarkable place because everything is wide open. First of all, it's totally beautiful. The colors in the mountains are incredible. Rocks, all kinds of things there. It's just an amazing place. And he just felt that was a wonderful place to take LSD. And so he started sending us there also. I went with him and a friend who was close to us. And actually, let's see if he's on this. Harmon is on the board, Willis Harmon. I went to Death Valley with Hubbard and Harmon, and it was a real interesting experience. I don't open up to these things as well as some of the others, and sometimes it's kind of painful. But between the two of them, they were just having a ball. And finally, toward the end, I began to wake up more, so things progressed better. One of the things that's interesting, we were making our way back from Death Valley, coming over here. We're going to spend the night here because it's too far to go back all the way back to the Bay Area. And so we were driving back, and it's just really beautiful and incredible. I was still under the influence of LSD, and everything was going really well. So we got to a place, I think we were only about, maybe it's about 15 miles from here. And we'd stopped the car, and there's some old buildings there, and Hubbard always likes to go and explore those kinds of things. So he'd gone out, and so Bill and I were standing there and kind of talking and just wondering, full of wonderment about all the stuff that was going on. And then all of a sudden, we couldn't see him. We thought he'd gone. And our first thought was that, well, now that he's taught us what this is all about, he took off and he's gone away. He's going to leave it all in our hands. But fortunately or unfortunately, he came from behind some building, and so we all got back together again. Okay. But that was a remarkable day, and that was a really good experience for me. And
so from there on out, Death Valley was one of your favorite places to...
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. We didn't... Al used it mostly for training those of us who were helping other people. And in rare cases, and if we felt they were appropriate people and especially appropriate, we might take them here. And I've done that a number of times with people.
And that's why you took Jean there. She was especially appropriate.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Now, if I did my math right, you were probably in your late 30s, early 40s about then? Because you said you had your first experience when you were 36 years old, and so this would have been probably 4 or 5 years after that.
Almost, by the time, let's see, it was about 5 years later, I guess, that I left Ampex and began to and set up this